So here's a question. When was the last time you really thought about your hands? I mean, really thought about them? Because right now, as you're watching this, there are millions of living organisms crawling across your palms, between your fingers, under your nails, and most of them? They weren't there an hour ago. Look, I'm not here to freak you out, but what happens when you skip washing your hands is way more intense than you think. We're talking about a chain reaction that starts the moment you touch that door, handle and ends with your immune system, fighting battles you didn't even know were happening. Let me paint you a picture. A study published in the Journal of Environmental Health found that, on average, your hands come into contact with your face between 16 to 23 times per hour. That's not a typo. Every single hour, you're touching your eyes, nose, and mouth without even realizing it. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Your hands can carry up to 3,200 different bacteria from 150 distinct species at any given moment, according to research from the University of Colorado Boulder. But bacteria aren't even the main villains here. The Centers for Disease Control estimates that proper hand washing could prevent about 30% of diarrhea-related illnesses and about 20% of respiratory infections, like colds and flu. Think about that for a second. 1 out of every 5 times you've been sick with a cold, it might have been completely preventable just by washing your hands properly. Here's what actually happens when you don't wash. Let's say you use a public restroom and skip the sink. Fecal bacteria, which can include E. coli, salmonella, and even norovirus particles, transfer to your hands. These microorganisms are invisible, odorless, and they're patient. They'll sit there waiting for you to eat that sandwich, rub your eyes, or bite your nails. A study in the American Journal of Infection Control found that fecal bacteria can survive on your hands for up to 3 hours. Now, your skin isn't defenseless. You've got what scientists call your skin microbiome, which is basically an army of good bacteria that lives on you and protects you. But when you introduce hostile pathogens and don't wash them off, you're essentially forcing your first line of defense into a fight it might lose. And when those pathogens make it past your skin and into your body through your mucous membranes, that's when things get real. Let's talk about what happens next. Say you've got norovirus particles on your hands. This virus is incredibly contagious and resilient. Research shows that fewer than 100 viral particles are enough to make you sick. That's a microscopic amount. Within 12 to 48 hours of ingestion, you're experiencing violent vomiting and diarrhea. Your body is essentially trying to expel the invader as quickly and forcefully as possible. The CDC estimates that norovirus causes 19 to 21 million illnesses annually in the United States alone, and improper hand hygiene is the primary transmission route. But it's not just stomach bugs. A study from Michigan State University observed 3,749 people in public restrooms and found that 95% didn't wash their hands long enough to kill harmful germs, and 33% didn't use soap at all. These are the same people touching grocery carts, ATM buttons, and elevator panels. The research, published in the Journal of Environmental Health, showed that harmful bacteria can survive on surfaces for hours or even days, creating this continuous cycle of contamination. Here's something that might surprise you. The simple act of not washing your hands doesn't just affect you. It creates a ripple effect. Studies on disease transmission show that one person with contaminated hands can spread germs to up to 5 other people or 14 different surfaces. Think about that the next time you're at a family gathering or in the office. You become an unintentional vector for disease transmission. And if you're thinking hand, sanitizer is a perfect substitute. Hold that thought. While alcohol-based sanitizers are effective against many germs, research from the CDC shows they don't eliminate all types of harmful bacteria and are particularly ineffective against norovirus, cryptosporidium, and C. difficile spores. They also don't physically remove dirt, chemicals, or heavy metals from your hands, the way soap and water do. Now let's get into the long-term implications. Chronic exposure to pathogens because of poor hand hygiene can actually wear down your immune system over time. Your body is constantly fighting off low-level infections, which means inflammation becomes chronic. Research has linked chronic inflammation to everything from cardiovascular disease to accelerated aging. A study in the journal PLOS, Pathogens, found that repeated exposure to certain bacteria can lead to antibiotic resistance, making infections harder to treat when you actually do get sick. And here's where it gets even more fascinating. Your gut microbiome, which plays a crucial role in everything, from digestion to mental health, can be disrupted by pathogens that enter through fecal-oral transmission. Research published in Nature has shown that gut dysbiosis, an imbalance in your gut bacteria, has been linked to depression, anxiety, obesity, and autoimmune disorders. All of this can trace back to something as simple as not washing your hands after using the bathroom. Children are particularly vulnerable. The World Health Organization reports that pneumonia and diarrheal diseases, both largely preventable with proper hand washing, are among the leading causes of death in children under 5 globally. We're talking about 1.4 million preventable deaths each year. That's not a small number. That's a crisis that could be significantly reduced with basic hygiene practices. But here's the thing that really gets me. Despite all this evidence, a study in the Journal of Food Protection found that only 5% of people washed their hands properly, enough to eliminate infectious germs after using the bathroom. Most people either skipped washing entirely, didn't use soap, or didn't wash long enough. The recommended duration is at least 20 seconds with soap and water, but the average person washes for just 6 seconds. If you're finding this information valuable, go ahead and hit that like button. It really helps this content reach more people who need to hear it. So what's the bottom line here? Your hands are the primary vehicle for disease transmission in your daily life. Every surface you touch, every hand you shake, every time you eat without washing, you're playing Russian roulette with your health. The medical evidence is overwhelming. Proper hand washing reduces respiratory infections by 16 to 21%, reduces gastrointestinal illness by 31%, and reduces absenteeism due to illness by 29 to 57%. According to comprehensive CDC research, this isn't about being paranoid or germophobic. It's about understanding that this simple act, taking 20 seconds to wash your hands with soap and water, is one of the most powerful health interventions available to you. It's free, it's easy, and the science shows it works. Your body is incredibly resilient, but it's not invincible. Every time you skip washing your hands, you're not just risking a cold or an upset stomach. You're contributing to a larger public health issue. You're potentially exposing vulnerable people around you, and you're putting unnecessary stress on your immune system. So the next time you're about to walk past that sink, remember what's really at stake. Remember those millions of organisms. Remember the statistics. Remember that your health and the health of people around you depends on this small choice. If you learned something new today, consider subscribing to the channel for more evidence-based health content. And seriously, go wash your hands. Your body will thank you.